Pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Josh,
Yes.
Bob,
Yep.
Frank,
Yes.
Tom,
Yep. Yes. All right, I need a motion to approve last month's minutes.
Yeah. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so now we're on to any requests from the floor tonight.
Everybody's happy?
If we don't have anyone else, I was gonna let you ladies go now. I don't know what your plan is, if you're wanting to stay for the whole meeting or not, but I wanted to give you the freedom to talk to us and do what you.
Here is explain a little something.
Yeah,
And Machias, who heads up real property tax, was not able to be here himself tonight because he is the supervisor of the town of Polite. And that means tonight too. So in lieu of that, we have Liz Burrow, who is the head assessor here. And we also have Kerry Tomzak, who is an evaluation analyst. So I'll let them take over.
yeah, I mean, as Dave mentioned, Dan definitely would have come himself, but, you guys know how it is for budget season, he needed to be where it was, so basically, we came, Carrie and myself are hoping we can answer any questions that you may have, because we were under the understanding maybe there's some questions or concerns, or, so I guess.
Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, let me refresh the board and, the members here. We met with Dan Martinez, as a member of the bar about a month, six weeks ago. And we expressed our frustration over how many, grievances we get in the town of Machias compared to everywhere else in the county. He walked through a number of issues, that contribute to that. But, regardless of what he walked through, we're still way over. Towns like Ellicottville that had 3 people, towns like Napoleon that I think he said he had 5.
Yeah.
You know, so, and we had 40, 42 somewhat grievances. And that's after that they met with the county, the people came to the county, so somewhere in the neighborhood of 50. So this town is questioning, you know, why are there so many grievances? Why are so many people in Machias as a part of the county of Cattaraugus having so many issues compared to the rest of the county? Again, Dan did walk us through there some things, but you know, that's I think the basis of it.
Well,
As with Dave, myself, and Carlo, we said that we really need to get closer to the county. The county needs to get closer to us to understand the issues of these residences. There's a lot of people that feel they are paying above their fair share. It's Dave's job, my job, and Carl's job to convince them that, you know,
right,
there's,
well, I guess if I could just.
that's the bottom line.
I would answer part of it and then I'll turn it over to Carrie. I guess part of it is in Ellicottville, even though these folks are not, because their equalization rate, is only 54.5%. They aren't seeing the grievances because people, it's not transparent. So the transparency that you people have here is you can see that your full market value and your assessed value are equal because you're at 100%. Although their full market value is increasing, they don't even know it. So they're getting a tax bill that's higher and they really don't know why. They're assuming that it's because of the tax rate, which it is, but it's, and because of budget or whatever, but a lot of it is because of the equalization rate. Carrie did a couple examples, but so like Machias, your school tax rate is $12.58. Ellicottville's school tax rate is $23.07.
Oh,
Yes,
54%.
so it's not that you're paying more than your fair share, it's just the way the equalization rate works, and those people don't even understand.
One of the
what's on
things
tax
that
bill.
Let me
Go
just clarify
You go.
one thing, and I want to confirm with you. Dan mentioned that if you're on 100%, when your rate changes, you get a letter. If you're on an equalization value, you do not get a letter. The town board makes a determination. We're gonna go from 54% of the town assessor, from 54% to 52% or 51%. There's no letters that go out. Is that
Right,
correct?
right, and if the town decides they don't wanna maintain 100%, that is totally the town's decision, we don't decide that for you. And it's my understanding that the town of Machias doesn't want to maintain 100% this year. The documentation wasn't submitted to the state. So therefore, the equalization rate will take over and the equalization rate will drop, and then, you know, it will be handled that way.
So we can have, if we stay with you, we still can pick if we want to be reassessed every 2 years or every 3 years. We can make that decision amongst us and have that, you will do that for us?
So what we'll do is we're gonna maintain the assessment role, we'll maintain the properties, we're gonna add the sales, we'll maintain any structures that are added, that, you know, building permits will be taken care of, everything will be updated as far as data, but we won't do updated valuation, with looking at all the sales documents and stuff like that. But when you want to, go to 100%, there are certain documentation that has to be submitted to the state. So you do have to enter into a plan, either a 4 or a 6 year plan. So if you choose not to do that, that's fine. We'll still maintain the data.
Okay.
But the values will be based on what they were the last evaluation.
Okay.
And that's where disparities come, like when you have a property that is assessed at $100,000, for example, and then somebody comes in and they buy it for 200,000.
Right.
If you're not maintaining 100%, that property, you know, is worth 200,000 because that person just bought it.
But it's gonna be
And
assessed.
it's gonna be assessed and he's gonna pay taxes or she based on 100,000.
All right, then you
So
reassess
that's-
everybody around it, 200,000. All the guys that are 100. One sold for 2, you raise them all.
No, that's not true.
Well, you raised everything, all residences, 10% across the board this year,
Based on, yeah,
based on 4 sales, you told me.
well,
The
based
4
on-
lake sales, based on 4 sales.
It
Yeah,
would be based on, what the state comes in and they also.
well,
look
well,
at
then the state said to
sales.
raise it all, but whatever, I mean, that's all,
But we
I
did-
understand.
We did change it
Yeah.
10% across the board.
So. School tax. In 4 years, from 2020 to 2024. Our school tax for Pioneer is up 32% in Machias. Arcade, Yorkshire and Delavan aren't 100% assessed, right? I think Arcade maybe the village, but not the, which one? One of them is, one of them isn't.
No, Yorkshire's at 11%. And their school tax rate is $115.42.
Right, but if they're assessed at 11 and we're assessed at 100, which is fantasy values in a lot of cases. You know, maybe we could sell it. If you want to leave, you could sell it maybe. But
we don't
the
have
school
anything
tax
else to
hits
go
us
by.
harder in Machias at 100% than it does in Yorkshire, Arcade and the rest. And I'll tell you, okay, we'll
Yeah,
go,
that's
let's go,
not- But that's not true.
but let's go to
so-
Sardinia. Okay, Sardinia is in that school district, right? What, are they at 100%?
It's a different county.
It's Erie County, right?
Yeah.
But
we
it's
don't
Pioneer
have
School
anything to
District.
do with
Pioneer,
county,
my
so we don't
Pioneer,
have access to their
our land in
stuff.
Sardinia, the school tax went up 9%. My school taxes in Machias for the 12 pieces of property I own went up 32%.
And again, like the school.
But we're
tax
100%, we're all
rate budget,
fuzzy and warm and all, but that's, you know, it's.
But it's not necessarily your tax.
Well, I'm up 32%. Where did it
It's
come,
a
where did that?
dollar. Well,
Like some handouts,
Yeah.
right? It might be better to look at it
Yeah,
later, but.
we laid
just-
this out, or Carrie
Yeah.
put this.
Sorry, I
together
only
as
printed
far as-
3.
That's okay.
Because of the share. Okay.
And it just shows.
So-
um,
So I know you said we did a major assessment in 21.
Yep.
And then we reassessed everybody in 22, 23, and 24.
Well, when you're maintaining 100%.
Right,
you
but
have
this
to
is
do
lovely.
that.
I know.
Or if you're- if
It's-
the
it's
town
great.
doesn't want to,
Right.
That's okay.
And now
That's
we
fine.
want to do a full reassessment in 25 and hit us again.
Well, okay, again, like I mentioned, you have to enter into a program with the state, you sign a
Why in the
plan.
hell
You
would we
either
want to
have
do this?
a 4
We're
or a
getting
6-year
killed.
plan.
So this new reassessment you're telling us is like $98,000 to,
That's not true.
$98,140. I got the letter
That come
from you.
For that we
Yeah,
would
right here.
charge you 98,000.
Yeah, right there.
Can I see that?
well,
Don't take it. I've been saving, I've been saving this piece of paper
Ah.
since you mailed it.
It's, I think
$98,140.
Okay, so.
and then
this
you said there's a
text-
grant for that
Okay,
or
so
something.
let's read it in the text. So a full reassessment can cost upwards of $70 a parcel. Machias currently has 1,757 parcels, which means a reassessment could cost the town over 98,000. However, as you may recall, this reassessment will be conducted at no additional charge to the town of Machias.
Oh,
Your reassessment.
If you get the
is
grant.
within no, you're within a contract with us. The reassessment costs you nothing.
Right.
If you were to be with a sole assessor.
If I go and tell these people we're gonna reassess the entire town again after what we got hit with this year,
doesn't cost you anything.
well,
We
forget
never
that cost.
charge
Forget the
you
cost.
for that.
well, that was, it was kind of a
Forget the cost.
shocker when
It
we got
says
that.
right here, could cost the town, if you, but it says right here that it's conducted at no additional charge.
Okay, okay.
So that's, yeah,
Okay,
that's.
that wasn't my point though. My point is, you wanna reassess, put new numbers on all this property again.
Well,
To keep us at
The
100, so
same-
the state loves us. I know, I know they like us.
the sales are only gonna be valid for so many years. So when you enter into a reassessment plan, like I mentioned, it's either a 4 or a 6-year plan. And after that, then, the sales from 5 years ago are gonna start to become obsolete, so you have to get new sales.
Right,
So you
and
have to
then
move forward.
hopefully they just,
Well, the market is ever changing.
but what about the
because of
people that don't
COVID.
sell their houses? What do you got people that lived here for 40 years? They don't wanna sell.
I
Yeah,
totally
But now you're gonna
understand.
tell them, hey, I can get you 400,000 for your house.
But it's what the market is dictating, and unfortunately, ever since COVID, I mean, our office thinks it's as crazy as anybody else. But the only fair way to know what a property is worth is by looking at what they're actually selling for. And, and anybody here is welcome to come to our office and talk to us privately about any issues or
No,
concerns that they.
You've been great to talk.
You know what I
Don't
mean?
take this wrong.
No, and I'm not. I
but-
just want people to know we have an open door. We're happy to talk to folks.
Right, so Ellicottville's at 54%. So I got my house in Ellicottville I bought for 400,000 10 years ago. And I'm a happy camper. I'm still at 400,000. Why would I want you to reassess me at full assessment?
Well, we're not the assessor
No,
there.
I know you're
but-
not.
So if you look at your tax bill, is your full market value 400,000?
Well, it wouldn't be on theirs.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're paying taxes on that, but you're actually, the distribution of the school tax is based on the full market value, not on your assessment. The way the equalization rate works.
But the full market values are way underrated after 15 years.
Parent.
So,
You know,
a couple questions.
Sure.
From the bottom, you have other townships and communities that are at 100%,
Mhm.
and they get letters. Why is Machias out in left field with 40 people coming in for grievances when others are getting single digits?
Well,
I'll talk
Yeah.
a little bit about that since I normally come there, and yes, this year was quite long.
So it's a.
It's been the last couple years.
I'm really impartial, that's
Yeah,
the Frank's
so-
point.
yeah,
The
she's
past
got
3
some
years, we've had,
documentation.
better than 40 people, you've been part of it.
Yes, and you guys usually have to meet.
Right,
It's a long,
it's a
it's a long,
one-on-one.
yes.
And we do have other towns that are similar.
Mhm,
But
so-
we're getting letters, it's full disclosure, but yet we're still way above any other town with the number of people that we have coming through.
We had 34 parcels this year, 24 people came in person. And 29 petitioners, so 5 of the parcels were the same Same owner, just multiple parcels. 14 of those 34 parcels have been grieved before, so whether or not they got an answer they liked before. We heard it a lot, they're coming in, they didn't understand the increase again. That was a good majority of the people that came in. And 9 of them, we stipulated with our office. It might have been the first time that we heard anything from them. I don't know why they're not coming to us first, like other towns are. I'm not sure where the disconnect is happening there. Yeah, because that, I mean, it's alarming for me to see so many people coming back, and so many people that we stipulated with, because usually the normal process, you receive your letter, you call our office. If there's information that's incorrect, we're more than happy to relook at it. If you bring, some people come with full packets, full photos. I noticed this year, a lot of people came prepared, which was great. We're more than happy to take a second look at it.
Yeah, it's not fair to the residents of Machias, if they do have a legitimate concern, and they show up at 4 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, and what this looks like. And, they might not have seen it until 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We
and
did
people
have a
walk up
similar-
and, leave
We
and
had a
discuss
similar
it, just throw the-
situation in
throw the packet
Ashland,
and-
just so you're aware. I mean, we didn't.
There's something going on. Statistically, it is incorrect that Machias has so many grievances and so many people that are concerned about taxes in relation to other towns. I understand the letter when they're at 100%, and that is a major contributor. So nobody knows the taxes go up, and it goes up a couple $100, and they're probably not even gonna know it. But when they get the letter, it's like, okay, I'm going to address this. I get that. But Machias is still high statistically compared to everybody else, including Ellicottville. You can point to the lake, but I can point to Ellicottville as well, even at the 54%. But there's something, there's something in there.
What I'd like to do, because I don't have the other towns, but I know what this is, you guys aren't the only ones that you compare it to towns that aren't at 100%. It for sure is going to be skewed in high here. What I'd like to do is tomorrow look at the other towns that were at 100%, see their numbers. Maybe do like a ratio based on the population size. because it doesn't matter how big the town is. And maybe I can send maybe-
What percent?
She left that part out.
Yeah, because really usually when you look at it,
Yeah,
40 people out of 1,757.
Yeah, please.
1,757 parcels in the Chias, there's only 40 grievances that pretty much.
Percentage basis.
Yes, yes.
Are
And I
most
do
of
know,
our,
like Ashland, midnight, and they're not, they were one that was similar to you guys, they had a reassessment several years ago and they were maintaining. So they had put in number as well.
are our grievances mostly from the lake people versus town people?
It wasn't like
No,
one sided.
Okay,
It was pretty spread out.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the prices at the lake are getting crazy. I mean, it's just, Frank will tell you, it's just, you can't buy anything for under $200,000 and people are buying them and knocking them down.
Well, and that's the problem.
Yep, that
That's-
drives it
those
up.
are the people that are
Yep.
driving this,
Yep.
and we saw it start when COVID hit. I hate to keep going back to that.
Yep,
But people came from the cities and they wanted to be in the country and they didn't care how much they had to pay because now they can work remote and they were buying these properties.
Yep.
And they're the ones that are driving this. And we're both living in this county too, and so we get it.
Yeah.
We totally understand. We have to pay taxes as well. So I, understand the concern and happy to try to answer questions.
yeah, Dave.
Just kind of, as a realtor, you're absolutely right about COVID. Ever since COVID, prices have gone right off the wall. And the thing of it is, you can put a house on the market and the market is going to determine the sale price. And right now, we're low on inventory. We have been for 3-4 years now. And it's still the same. I'm still seeing houses go $30,000-$40,000 over asking price. Without any hesitation at all. Now, say you had a house, and correct me if I'm wrong. But say you had a house that sold for $400,000. And your assessment, like Frank said, was $200,000. So that's not gonna show up if you don't do a reval. They're still gonna pay taxes on that, so they're not paying their fair share.
You cannot legally do it unless you are either doing a full reassessment or maintaining.
Or the inventory is
That's good.
Yeah,
We've
if they
done,
build
we've done
a
it in
new
Machias.
Well, if you
Yeah.
build a new house or add.
No, on a sale.
Yes.
The taxes have changed on the sale instantly, the next year.
Yeah.
I know, I
Well,
bought two or
if you're
three of them.
maintaining 100%.
Well, we have been maintaining
Yes.
our house.
But
So in
the town,
Machias,
you can't.
when we bought a house, it, like Dave said, it was assessed at 150
Yes.
and you paid 200.
Yeah.
You moved it to 200 immediately.
Well, it's like,
It
it's
might
like,
have worked out that was it 2021? Cause it might have worked out where that
Where it just
sale
got caught in there.
was.
It could.
was
I-
a usable.
But I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah,
it-
but like today.
like you said, if it's 100%. If somebody paid, and somebody did pay 4.25 here. You're gonna love that one. You know,
But so
because
if
I can
this-
imagine that one's double
So-
the assessment.
so The thing is, if like in 25, somebody 20, you know, for the 25 roll year, if somebody buys a home and you're not maintaining 100%, so say it goes the other way, then their assessment is not gonna increase. So they're gonna be paying tax based on whatever that assessment is.
Why don't we just do what Elegant does?
I mean, that.
They're
is
thriving.
absolutely Up to the board, up to the town, whether you want to maintain.
Does the state make us at some point go to 100%? They don't.
Not yet.
So if you're not at 100%, the equalization rate changes.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether you reassess or not, the equalization rate's going to.
Touches it up
For
anyway.
the fact that, so why is it even a discussion?
It is because then there becomes inequities between different types of properties. You know, then you've got.
Agricultural versus.
Well, like
residential,
basic
land all
lands
land.
Yeah.
And
The thing is-
commercial and residential.
The biggest example would be, and what we see is if you don't do a reassessment, say for 20 years ago, you could buy land
Oh,
for
yeah.
500 an acre.
Right.
It's going 35, 4,000
But
now.
does your equalization rate take into
Levels
account?
out everyone,
The
so
whole
it doesn't
town.
do land and residential separately, so then when you do a reassessment. And land goes way up here, where it could have just been going up a little bit every year.
So it's not a difference.
That's why in a reassessment, when
It's
some
one flat
people.
rate for all property.
Right.
Uniform percentage is how it's
Right.
classified on your tax bill, because it's the same percent, it's an average. Now, your residentials are the highest percentage of the town, so it's always kind of weighted more towards your residentials.
Yeah.
So
But it means so then-
we reassessed all residences this year, 24, you did them all, 10% across the board,
We did, the residentials went up
Yeah.
10%, yes.
across the board,
Yeah.
regardless of who his house is, it doesn't matter.
But so if
Right.
everyone goes up at that same rate, what we usually see is it's not really affecting the taxes.
Well, it
unless
affects
your-
the school
unless
tax.
Your levy is cheap.
The school tax. The school tax hit us, because you raised them all, and the school tax comes out. I'm telling you,
Yeah, did the budget
so
go
my
because
school-
your
my-
tax rate
my,
actually
in
lowered?
4 years, my school tax is up 32% of all my property in Machias. It's up 9% in Sardinia,
The
Because I
budget
think-
didn't change.
but it's all the school tax. The school tax is the one that hurts us.
Right, but so.
Okay,
like,
but
to
nothing, you
Gary's
guys got no
question-
control over that, I understand.
No, we're just asking if the budget changed
So,
or something.
We
and
just
this-
did all the residences, and now we want to do the entire town. In 25 again. What would be the purpose of it? Again, you just raised them all 10%.
So if you're looking at.
You think that the market's gone up another 10 in another year?
That would be,
Okay, so you're gonna, if you judge the 3 or 4 houses that got sold on the lake for double their assessments. That's the motivation then to take the whole town. And it's really not
It's
right.
that
I mean, the
there's-
lake is kind of,
It's to this gentleman's point of, and like Carrie was trying to explain about the different classifications, the longer it goes, and obviously it hasn't been a year
Right.
here. The longer it goes, then the further and further, and the more disparities you end up having.
right,
So
but you just
then-
you just did them 10%. We just
Well,
did it.
the-
So you don't think you can take a year off or 2 years off
Well,
and
you can,
hold
the
off?
town can choose to do, and we're not doing it this year because the town has already made that decision. And that's fine.
Right,
You,
right.
you guys can choose to do whatever you decide to
You-
do.
I assume you use the mass appraisal system like everybody else in New York State.
We,
New York State uses that
yeah,
system.
for the equalization.
So when you,
But we use.
when you
like
do
a
a
cost-
reval and you say raise somebody's taxes 32%. You use comparables, I assume. How do you pull those comparables up?
In office.
sales.
But what system do you use? You just randomly?
It's called version 4. It's
We
just
can-
built into our system, so we have back-end modeling that we look at the sales and create.
So that's what I'm interested in, the back end modeling.
Yeah.
So to derive somebody's fair market value assessment, what inputs are used to derive that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. We could, our valuation specialist actually is, he used to work for New York State and he has a lot of knowledge, of valuation.
Is there a way somebody like me could get a hold of that information?
Not easily. Cause it
Well,
depends, it
And
depends.
here's my point. We all have a right to know how our taxes are derived, and I've asked the question 20, 30 times in the course of my lifetime of owning a house. When I challenge my assessment. So when I go to the Board of Assessment Review. No offense, but it's pretty much a rubber stamp of what you guys do. I understand why. But when I go to small claims court to challenge it, inevitably I always find myself asking, how did you derive my assessment? Compared to the comparables you're saying you're using, is it square footage?
Well,
Is that 80% of it? Is it concrete driveway, paved driveway?
Well, there's a lot that goes into that. So in the comparables, it's just it's very similar to what an appraiser would do.
Mhm.
And Dave could talk to that as well. So when we do our comparable sales, we're making, there's adjustments in that are built into the system. It's.
Right, and that's what
it
I'm
would
asking
take
for.
us
How do I get,
Hours. to
how do I
try to
get
figure
firsthand
out.
knowledge of what those adjustments are that you're using
Well,
to?
you can look at it, you can dissect it, we can give you a sheet that would tell you, you know, there's.
An extra bathroom is.
Yeah,
Say
like-
7,000, like
Yeah,
things like that,
there's-
it makes
Right.
differences.
Yes.
So
So
because
there's
Dave would know, I mean,
adjustments,
he
yeah.
goes out to get a listing on a house, he comes out to my house.
And that's
It's a
exactly what we do,
1,700
that same
Square
thing.
foot ranch compared to Frank's 1,700 square foot ranch. There are no such things as comparables, there may be similars, but.
Yeah.
To,
And that
to the
does
lady's
make it
point, she's lived in the
perfect.
same house for 60 years, you don't know what the fair market value is, because the house has never been for sale. The house
We
is
have
never
to-
sold.
We have to go by the comparable. We have to go by the comparable home that's the most similar to.
Understood, but the rub with the
adjustments are
community, the
Just
rub with,
like,
the rub with the community is, and with me personally, when I challenge my assessment is. I never seem to be able to get to the bottom of how you use. Comparable
well-
X, Y, and Z to my house and what the differences is, because I like to do my homework.
well, we can give you a comparable
Okay.
sheet.
And I
And
will say, if you haven't already, on our website, you can pull up comparable assessments, comparable sales, put in parameters,
there's
it's
a lot.
very similar to the system we use. They're not going to show you right on there the adjustment differences, but you can pull up comparables and see what they sold for.
So how do you account for things like condition?
It depends on what the sales are saying. Sometimes it depends on the town. Sometimes condition is a
But
bigger
regardless,
driver.
regardless of sales, you pick a certain sales point, I'm sorry for taking up the time.
Nope, nope.
Fine.
That's what we're
You
here
pick
That's
a,
what
you
we're
pick
here
a certain bunch of comparables, you set the market rate, you apply to whatever house, whether it's mine or Bob's or Frank's, and that's what their assessed value becomes, but this house may be in average or below average condition. How do you adjust for that if you're not actually visiting the property?
Well, that's another thing that why we ask, when we do a reassessment, we do send out mailers, we ask for. People to come to us with information. Usually we don't, so then we do have to make assumptions. And we look at sales of similar style, square footage. Acreage, I mean, we take into all those things. just like you said.
I think we're getting a little too deep here, but I think, because we'll get down to
Oh,
how
yeah.
to raise the grass and whatnot,
But we'd be happy,
But I
come
think
talk
that,
to us. We'll show you.
from the board assessment review, we've got to figure out from the town and from the county's assessor's office on how to move forward and take these issues and grievances and get the answers back to the residents of Machias. The issue of where do I, how are our taxes broken up? There's not a person that has come in front of me, the board assessment review in 4 years, that was not prepared to pay the fair share. Now, how wide of a fair share is acceptable, that's a piece of it as well. But nobody's saying, you know, I'm not paying taxes. Nobody's saying,
Correct.
yeah, you guys are out to lunch. They're saying, I look out my window and I see my neighbor's house that's very similar, or the house across the street that's very similar. Why am I paying more with them? And on a macro scale, you got people in Machias looking at, Ellicottville, or looking at Yorkshire and, you know, for school taxes and saying, why, I'm prepared to pay my fair share, but us and telling us that, but why am I paying more than that person? So equity and fairness is what, from the BAR, that we have to get to between the town and between the county, assessor's office. And I think if we just, you know, keep working these issues, we can move it beyond that.
Sure.
I don't want to get into the deep details, but
Well, no,
On a
maybe
high
as
level,
far
I
as
think
any
it's- let's get the
property personally, just
residences-
come to our office.
yeah,
and
let's
talk.
get the residents the answers that they're looking for, and let's be fair to the county assessor's office. That's, I think, what the BAR.
Question?
I got two questions. One, he said that the whole town went up 10%. If the whole town goes up 10% because of the sales at the lake is its own neighborhood. So that should be taken into consideration for myself, live out in the country. I'm paying, in my opinion, my assessment's is way too high for what I have in the country. But it's based on some of the lake itself.
Well, we can't make two different districts, it's all
Yeah, well,
got.
actually you do. You have Lake House, the lakes is one is what is neighborhood compared to. Land out in the country or rural. It is a different neighborhood, so yes, you can compare differently that way, and it can be done, and it should be being done that way. So with that comment, the other question I have is the hours in the town. When you're working, they have hours at the town, 12 to 4, 11 to 4 on a Friday. I'm working 8 to 5. I can't make them. They need hours here at the town for anybody that works them hours. They need some night hours or weekend hours for anybody to come in. If you make that happen, your grievance is gonna go down a little bit because you're gonna be able to come to the town and not have to travel through the Little Valley to find out what's going on. And take a day off work if need be, because they're only there till
Right.
4 or 5 at night anyway. So that's the other point, is they need some hours in the town for people to come in and see what's going on. Pace.
I have a question. So do you think that would be needed consistently or more so just when you receive the new
I
notice
think
that
we should be
it went up?
consistent.
You
I was in the
want,
full life in the full life assessment for 10 years.
Yeah.
We had weekend hours and we had night hours. So we could have anybody that works any hours to come and see us.
And then if there's a sale or something going on, it's not everybody at the beginning of the year or whatever, they can,
Throughout the year, people can come in and see.
yeah, they have a question.
We can take a look at that.
I have one question. To your point on your assessed value, if you sold your house today, would you accept an offer at your assessed value currently, what it is?
Right.
Yeah.
What's that?
If you sold your house today, would you accept an offer at your current assessed value?
Well, personally, I'm never gonna sell my house.
No, I
That's not the
understand
point.
that.
It's just not the point.
The point was, if somebody offered me that, I would probably take it, but it's still, it's too high. I mean, nobody in the right mind would take less if somebody offered you more money.
Well, just to point out here,
the main question, what we tell people is, if you feel that you can sell your property for what it's assessed at on the open market, then,
I
Then
don't
it's-
think mine
then
would
it's
go
fair.
for that high.
and
That's
if you
the question
don't,
you're
then,
asking.
then that's when you come to us with, you know.
Well, I've been here,
condition or
I've
photos.
been reviewed a couple times already,
mhm.
I feel being way too high. So,
Well,
And some of yours is land stuff, but like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's-
to get in.
that's-
for
that's-
some of it,
Well,
like,
Just,
One step.
just one thing I'd like you to go over quickly that I wanted to ask is, because of, you know, all these increases in the amount of complaints we've gotten, you know, as a board, we've talked about and considered going back to our own local assessor. And we have, you know, a really good candidate and people who are interested in doing that. And so my question is, can you point out some of the specific values of why? And Brian mentioned it, you know, having somebody here locally to talk to would be one of those big points. What are some of the, like this letter that we have here, to me, that kind of seems like almost a threat, like you better stay with the county or it's gonna cost you $100,000 or
Well,
more
no, it's-
to,
No, it's not a threat at all. It's just trying to make you aware that we've taken towns over that have had a previous reassessment done by outside companies. And it has cost them hundreds of thousands. And in some cases, not done great. But I know that you guys, the supervisors anyway, I think that you received a letter from Dan about 2025.
yeah, he
like
did go
what's
over
gonna
some of
come.
the reasons
Yeah.
for sticking with the county. I just thought maybe you could address a few of those while everyone's here.
So in 2025, in September of 25, the 6-year term for assessors across New York State will be, coming to a. So, you know, we do have other towns that are wanting to come with the county, you know, and I understand, you know. We're a team. I feel like for me, I think the biggest benefit is, I understand to your point, Ryan, like people aren't here on the weekend or evening for people that work the 9 to 5. But we are available Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, where your sole assessors, I know in my town, she's only there once a week, you know, in an evening for 2 hours. So maybe if there's several people, you know what I mean? Like we're available every single day, 9 to 5. We're happy to make.
You can call,
Well,
you can call on their lunches and.
Yeah.
I don't like talking on the phone to people, I wanna meet them.
Yeah, and we're happy to set up a
And I've
meeting,
done that before.
and we're happy to like set up a meeting and come for an outside time. We would do that. But I'm gonna take back that there may be a need for an outside time, and we can visit that. The other thing, I know Dan talked briefly about it, and he has to like revisit it and do some more analysis about, in 25, like, when everyone came on with the county, they just paid the county whatever they were paying their previous assessor. So, that was how the contract was written. In 25, it'll go to probably a price per parcel. And it won't be, one size fits all. It'll be different types, like vacant will be probably a different price than a residential, because it takes less to do any valuation. But the other thing would be, you know, you're not paying into our retirements, you're not paying healthcare. You do not have to pay mileage. I know that that was, something that was brought up and, before, Frank, and you're not paying our mileage. We have up to $2,000 annually of mileage that is covered by the county. That's not, it's, your contract is a one set fee for everything that we do for you. And that will continue. It'll just be set up differently, like a price, per parcel. And Dan plans to come to more meetings as that time approaches to discuss what those changes.
Cause we're
will
at
look
like 10 now, right? We
Yeah,
paid 10,
yeah.
right?
Yep, and that's
That
like I
includes
said,
everything.
for everything,
Yep.
for an annual, yep. You don't have to pay for any training, assessors have to have 12 hours of, continuing education every year, all of that is paid by the county. You don't have to pay for any, computers, printers, any kind of equipment, that's all paid by the county. All mass mailings, like the big mailings that we do, when we do a reassessment and we send out mass mailings, that's all covered by the county. The daily things that when we have a sale and we send a sales verification or we have something like that, those things are postage that I get from Rebecca. You know, but most of the big ticket things are covered by the county and under the contract. And that's not gonna change even when it goes to this, price per parcel.
Do we know what that's gonna be? Elizabeth?
We don't. That's what Dan's doing, some more analysis, and he'll be reaching out. I'm
That'll
sure,
be in
to all the stu-
26.
It's September of 25 that that ends. But I think what he mentioned, how he would budget is just to finish out the year or something like that. I don't really know the specifics of how that'll look, but it will be, ending September of 25. So, and then, let's see. Also, when we do a revaluation, you can get, state aid that we send in the paperwork. You should be able to get up to possibly $5 a parcel for doing it. You get a bigger piece of sales tax money.
How does
based
that
on the
work?
Total assessed value.
What's the sales tax money got to do with it?
Since it's based on your total assessed value. Honestly, I would have to have him talk. about
Okay,
it.
I'm just
These are
curious.
notes that I know.
I do know we've taken in more sales tax money.
Oh, yeah, we did. I was surprised in our budget that
Yeah.
when we met with Kathy,
Yeah.
how much our
I
sales
just
tax.
wonder how does it calculate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know that?
I don't, but I would assume it's a percent of the overall.
Right, yeah.
I would assume.
And the mortgage tax is computed the same way as the sales tax. So, yeah, I mean, what we have seen is like an outside firm would charge. You'd pay your assessor, but then you'd also, I mean. it
All
would
the
a
extra would be
huge
going on top of that.
Taking to have one person go out and do what our data
Our
collectors
team,
do.
we
I
have a
mean,
team of 7 is the biggest benefit. If you
Yeah.
have 7, we answer the phone. Majority of people do call it. I do get the point of wanting to be in person. But our town hours, and maybe we need to revisit Friday. Or wait, is it afternoon or morning? Maybe it's the best time for this specific town.
Right, yeah, so I can revisit that.
Most people call. And a lot of people call.
And we
Our phones
could,
are busy.
set something up where once a month we came on an appointment or something like that. I don't know that.
One,
they
you see, one of the, and this gentleman brought it up, I mean, that, he's not the first person that said that same thing. You know, we used to be able to meet, come down, no, there's, you know, here's an issue, here's something we see that isn't correct, here's why it's not correct. And it was more of a one-on-one basis, we're kind of, and it's not your fault, because you know, you're in the, you're in Little Valley. And there's, and the distance, you know, for a lot of these folks who do work full-time, makes it a little difficult. So I mean, I don't envy you guys' job. I mean, I wouldn't, you
Well-
couldn't pay me to do what you do. But it's just, we're trying to do the best for our town, and you know, and we hear more and more and more and more and more, and after this last round, it really got nasty, you know,
Well,
not against
that's
us,
why-
more like you, but.
Well, that's why
you
we're
know,
here, because we do wanna address the
right.
concerns and try to work together to fix them.
And then the scary thing was when this letter came out and said, not again. You're gonna come out and reassess everybody again? You know, we're gonna have riots in the streets in Machias. You know, we can't do that. We gotta take a little break.
And that's fine.
And that's our choice if we want to do that.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
I think that part of it was kind of like news to all of us.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
it
sure we
was.
realized
It was.
that was.
So I think, you know,
Oh,
that,
yeah, it's
that solves a
always
lot of things.
totally up to the
And to your answer of, our hours for our town, what do you think our budget is for our town? Take a wild guess. What do you think our total budget is? Take a wild guess
This is as far as what?
for the whole town, what our budget is.
The operating budget.
Operating budget for the town of Machias.
This town has to take care of.
How much?
78,000.
78,000?
No, we're talking like highway.
I'm
paying
talking
off the
everything that
employees,
happens in
the whole
town.
time.
Everything that happens in town, benefits, everything that makes Machias operate,
1.5 mil.
Less than that.
less than that. I mean, I've asked some people, you know, like, I get the question at the lake because that's probably the highest paying, whatever. And I'll ask them, I'll say, so what do you think our budget is at the town? They'll go, oh, like $6 million, $5 million. I go, are you kidding me? We're lucky we get $1 million. And then we make this little town work. So it is kind of hard for us to and most of it goes to the county and to the state. We don't get a big percentage of it.
So to that point, I mean, our meeting with Dan was that we've got to understand each other. The
Right.
assessor and the assessor's office has to understand this town. That, you know, you hear the residents and, you know, Dave, myself and Carla and you know, but we spent 2 more nights till 1:30 going through all the grievances. If the county is doing their job, and meeting with the residences, having the hours where the people of Machias can look and say, yeah, it's fair, you know, within a range, it's fair.
Sure.
That's kind of where my vision is, of getting the county and the town.
On the
And
same.
The board can do what they want, as far as whether it's county or local assessor. But, you know, I'd like to really take a swing first, because that's what's in front of us.
Yep.
They're dealing with us. I think they got the hot breath of the customer tonight. Thank you for being here. And, you know, and, yes,
It's all part of it,
But,
it's
you
okay.
know, that's what the town is. And nobody's being, you know, rude or not truthful.
No.
It's what's facing them.
Yeah.
If we can get the county and the town together with these issues and get answers back to our residences, I think we can work this.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, I guess we need to know, like, is it just about that we're here more often to be available to the taxpayer? We already know.
The off hours,
Yeah,
I heard the off hours.
Yeah.
I think we've got to answer the questions that we heard tonight. Why are school taxes different, you know,
but
or the
if
same?
people get
Yeah,
paid, it's
yeah.
not, they're
Yeah.
not.
yeah. Why are there so many grievances?
I can
Why
tell
don't
you
we
in
show up
dollars they
before
are.
Yeah, well-
Around midnight to, how do we fix that?
Right.
We will
And
take
I
those,
think Carrie will address
right on.
that.
you know, so there's just these issues.
Communication.
We've got time to deal with it.
Yeah,
And also be upfront, you know, truthful to the town board and the residences. You know, if there's an assessment coming, how is it gonna be done? How are we gonna be looking at property? What are gonna be the driving factors? 95% of the people will not care or look at it and understand. But you've got some that are gonna be like, okay, square footage is important, bathrooms are important, you know, and that, we've gotta get that information out and that will help us all.
I guess hardest part and all that, because we've tried and I really pushed
Yeah,
that with the
yeah.
inserts and trying to get as much out without causing more confusion than it's helping. So I don't know, I'd love to brainstorm ideas on what is the best avenue, was it a public forum like this? Because this is great.
And we
because
did-
people show
yeah,
up.
and we did talk about that, we will try to.
Maybe if we
talk
do this
about
once
going-
a month or something like that would be
about
great.
going to more
Yep.
meetings and
Cool.
yes, and trying to, yeah. Get
Thanks.
some more public, you know,
All right.
education.
I think,
Love having
I
you
think
guys
you answered a lot.
Because that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But we gotta lay off the reassessments for a while.
And
I got
that's
property-
totally, you guys have already chosen not
Okay.
to do a
Okay,
reassessment this
good.
year by
We
not.
gotta
signing
take
the
a break.
documentation.
We cannot
So-
reassess all this property again.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see
Yeah, we'll see how it
goes.
works out.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Just one last comment.
No.
Town of Yorkshire, if you look at tax records down there, most of the houses don't have any square footage on them unless they've been sold by a realtor. So how do you get a valuation on a house you don't know what square footage is? And the other comment is, and I deal in several different towns. The sales in the last year that I've been involved with have all been way over assessed value. Is that what you're seeing on a county level?
The sale has been way over.
Yeah,
assessed
the
value.
sales,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what's driving.
I mean,
it.
the market's going up, and to Yorkshire's point, the data there is terrible.
Believe me, it
Because
is.
that's why their equalization rate is so low too. To do a townwide reassessment there would be a large undertaking just to collect the data before you can apply values. Right now, just the equalization rate is working and they're maintaining the role
Mhm.
by building permits.
Okay.
And a lot of it is probably off the books and in file holders, and you would have to import everything from the file holder into the system before you even start working. It would be a large undertaking.
Yep,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, but so. as you
All right,
see-
well, thanks for tonight. And,
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, girls.
and we'll get some information and we can have Rebecca, when we get some information back from that hours and stuff like that. We'll have Rebecca put it out on our website and you'll be able to catch that. And then if they are gonna do something once a month, we'll let everyone know when they're gonna be here again. And that'll help everybody to come here instead of having to go there with your question. And then that might help these guys when they gotta do the revals at the, you know, when they gotta do their grievances. That might cut down on that also for them guys.
It will cut
Yep.
down the more they can meet with the people.
Exactly.
On site,
Okay,
I'll guarantee it.
okay. All right,
Thanks, lady.
thanks for your time, Joel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coming.
If you think of anything else, Rebecca, you can just shoot me an email or
Absolutely,
whatever.
absolutely, the board, if anybody says anything else, I'm just.
Perfect, okay,
Thank
all right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, anyone else have anything from the floor before we move
Anyone
on?
still awake?
You know,
Sorry about that, but it
Everybody's
might have
okay?
answered a lot of questions for people and it was a little in depth, but I think it helped. And I think it helped me to understand some of the stuff.
From the VAR, we know that the town board was talking about, having their own assessment. We know what the county has and is capable of. There's my role on the board assessment review. It's that both are operating in two different orbits. We've got to get the orbits together. We got to get the town.
Yep.
And we got to get the county together. I think this is a great.
I think what we just did tonight is lit them up a little bit and I think it'll help us all. Okay,
all right. Under reports, I just want to mention, I see that the email went out with the monthly financials, so we all have that. That's there to review. And also we have this tentative budget to look at. So if everybody can just check that out, so we can deal with it next month.
Yes.
For next month's meeting, yeah.
yeah,
We have to have a public hearing for
The
next.
schedule would be that you all review it this month. Next month at our meeting, you guys can discuss any changes you want to make and we set a public hearing for November.
November.
We have to approve the budget in November in order to get it to the county and time for it.
Perfect.
Cool.
Do you have anything from?
I have Tim's and I have you, so.
Okay,
Tim's at a fire department meeting, so he couldn't be here. He said, they've been patching roads on Felton and Bear Creek and are currently working on Riceville between Pleasant Valley and Krebs patching. They're gonna do Krebs and Brown Hill when they finish Riceville. There's now somebody residing on Swamp Road, which if anybody knows, that runs off of Sisson over there by the Amish farm, sort of, around the bend, past the Sportsman's Club, and so now, he's going to have to maintain Swamp Road, so he's looking into the exact amount of distance he's responsible for. So he knows what he has to do in plowing. It wasn't in our budget, but he's gonna have to put some gravel and possible road treatment, this year in order to be able to plow. And he has signs ordered for Swamp Road, so people know where it is, and a couple for the Gulf Road Farm. The person living in the cemetery has been removed by the highway department and they're in the process of cleaning up along the pond swamp area so that we don't have places for people to squat anymore in there. Cause this isn't the first squatter we've had in
No.
the cemetery. We've had some over on Beamer's side. It's a nice little place and during the summer, there's water and there's a toilet. So I mean, hey, what more could you ask for? They're going to be putting shoulder material on Berry Road possibly next week or the week after. Okay, train of thought writing here, is that hurt? He had a discussion with Conway Beam, which is who we basically get our 10-wheeler trucks from. And New York State has passed a law, which I can tell you, it's called the Advanced Clean Truck Rule. It goes into effect starting next year. And it mandates that a certain percentage of class 4 to 8 trucks sold in the state must be zero emission vehicles or electric vehicles.
By when?
By it's starting in 2025.
2025.
So basically, it's for every diesel or gas truck you sell, for every, the numbers are off a little bit. You have to sell one electric vehicle for every 9 to 13 gas vehicles you sell. The problem is, the electric vehicles run between $600 and $700,000 just for the truck box.
Right.
The plow and weighing setup is extra. So basically, it's gonna drive the price of all of the diesel and gas trucks up, because somebody's gotta pay for those electric vehicles that are gonna be sitting in the lots because nobody wants them. But they're required to buy them in order to sell the other ones. So, that being said, our 2014 map is supposed to be sold. It's going to go up for an Auctions International. The dealer said that we should definitely not sell it for less than $50,000 because come 2025, the used ones might be worth more now too, because
Yep.
the new ones are gonna be out of people's price range. So, Auctions International is sending their guy down this week to take pictures of that and our, wheeled excavator, our 2005 wheeled excavator. They're putting, reserve bids on everything. They will not, he said he won't take less than, I mean, you guys could, I'll bring it to you, but he wouldn't take less than 50,000 for the Mac. And the wheeled excavator should bring somewhere between $25,000 to $30,000. If they both sell, he would like to use that money to purchase a skid steer, which is what they use to plow the sidewalks. Ours is 25 years old and it's getting a little rough. Okay, and for 2025, the loader and the superintendent's pickup are up for replacement. They both have trade-in value. The loader is on the Sourcewell state bid price. These can be talked about in December. He will come to the board to talk about those things. He's hoping to get to the town hall parking lot and sidewalks, soon, before the weather breaks. And he's been asked by a few people if the speed limit on Felton Hill Road could be brought down to 45 miles an hour, just like the West Valley side is 45. It would make the all of Felton Hill 45 miles an hour. And it is allowable for towns to reduce their speed limits per local law. And he would like the board to move forward with that, to reduce the speed from 55 to 45 for the stretch
I'm in favor.
up to West Valley. So, that's his report.
Thank you.
You said you had youth too?
I have used, yes, they just texted me that, so. They are planning trunk or treat with the Machias Fellowship Church. It will be at the park over by Beamer's on Tuesday, October 29th from 5:30 to 7. You should let Katie Cornwell or Don Birch know if you'd like to set up with a trunk. They will have garbage can monsters around town at Elfie's, Lil's, and the Route 16 Salon, where people can donate bags of candy for the event if they're unable to attend and want to contribute. And they're working on their Christmas calf raffle. It's in the beginning stages, and they are planning it for Friday, December 6th, starting at 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anything from water or sewer?
Water, I just have that we, got the order authorization for the special order meter that we had to get for the Pines. So hopefully we're actually going to get that sometime soon and have a accurate meter over there. And then, I guess this is sort of water and sewer, but, Derek Rule, we got a letter from MDA Consulting Engineers that Derek Rule is, leaving and taking a different job, which is gonna be very sad because he's been great.
Yeah.
Great contact for our town and great ambassador for all the things we need to do. Our new contact will be Caleb Henning, which is one of the co-owners of the firm. So, but we will miss Derek.
The water district, have they done the repair yet that we okayed for?
Lily?
Yeah.
As far as I know, they've not.
They haven't done it yet?
I
Okay,
thought it was supposed to be done today.
Wait,
maybe it was.
I haven't heard, last I knew they hadn't got the meter yet.
Randy is, no, that's the.
No,
line,
That's
right?
so.
That's the repairs that we gotta
Yeah,
do.
this is the Randy fix over at the well house.
Well house.
For
that
the
we're
seal.
talking about. Tim didn't have, and Randy neither of them said anything to me, and I would assume one of them would have to let them in, so. I
Okay.
would assume Somebody would have.
Originally, it was supposed to be today, but that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can check on that, so I can give a call to Lily tomorrow and find out what's going on.
Okay, thanks.
Yep,
Or Rebecca, anything from the clerk's seat?
no.
Yeah. Then we're on to
Scott. Okay, the system reports are attached, new permits 3, certificate of occupancy, 4 certificate of compliance, 1 stop work order, and that was at the KG Mart. I won't go into the full story, but fella's insisting he's not gonna buy a building permit, even though he is in the business of rehabbing properties and flipping them. He sent you, apparently he sent Josh an email of concern, I take it. At the heart of it, the building is in deplorable shape. The roof is caved in the back, the siding's falling off the back end of it. You can see that he took the awnings off to re-roof those. He's scabbing on pieces of 2x4 to rotten boards. The place is a mess. So the right way to do it is to have it assessed by an architect or a licensed professional engineer, draw out the scope of work. And in conjunction with that, it sounds like he's either going to try to turn it into apartments, cheap apartments to rent for employees at the cheese factory,
Really?
or divide it up for retail space. In either case, with the condition of the building, it becomes what's called a level 3 alteration in the existing building code. Without going into a lot of detail, at that point, it's subject to all the bells and whistles of the
Right.
2020 code and the 2020 energy code. And he simply just does not want to spend the money at the end of the day, which is unfortunate, but that's what he's gonna have to do. That's what that one's about. Annual in-service training is completed, spent Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday last week in Celeron. Bear Creek Campground, have not heard a
Anything?
peep, just crickets since my last contact with the owners. Tug Hill Radio Tower has been started, the piers are in the ground. I imagine they're waiting 28 days before they put the structure up. Cat County Health Department, this is actually a farmer's guild issue, but it applies in Machias also. There's been a real problem with the Amish applying for building permits for new houses. They're required to apply for a gray water permit, not a full private septic. Some of them fill out the application, but as a community, they're refusing to comply. They will not put the systems in. At one point, the 2 ladies that I deal with have asked me not to issue a building permit until they file application. Since that time, the head of the health department has basically told me, go ahead and issue building permits. They're gonna deal with it.
Okay.
At their own level. And finally, the 2024 New York State Uniform Code, in New York fashion, the 2024 code will come out the 3rd quarter of 2025. And similar to your annual tax increases, Frank, this is going to increase the cost of the new house construction, probably 20 to 25%. Every house will have to be solar ready, EV car ready. There'll be things like ventilated recovery units, energy recovery units, just all kinds of great blower door tests, duct blower tests, all kinds of fun stuff. So hang on.
Crazy.
It will, for the folks out in this end of New York State, it will basically make building out of the reach for most people, which is absolutely insane.
Cool. Thanks, Scott.
Okay, thanks.
Nice work.
Well, I guess that brings us to, we have a report from the planning committee.
Yes, we do. Our last meeting was really with, Matt Zarbo, who was an engineer with Square Engineering. And he described a little bit about the purpose of the comprehensive plan, which is basically to establish a basis to start from, so you have something to work off of. And we've already done a lot of that, because we've sent out our surveys, we've done a good share of what he said we should be doing already. The thing that we've got to do now, though, is that we've got to look into moving the step further. Now, we all, and Kevin designed this here. It's a,
Vision to reality
vision,
statement.
yeah, vision to reality statement. And we've got several of them back, and they're looking really good. You know, it's giving us an idea of where people think the town should go in the future. And I thought it was real good. For our next meeting is going to be on the 30th of this month, and hopefully we'll have all those vision to reality plans in place. He did say that you could take another town's comprehensive plan and look at it and critique it to your own needs, and it's gonna save a lot of money. He said, if you go to get a grant, there's things that are tied in with the state. Which it makes it hard to get a grant without having things tied in that are gonna cost money that you might not need in our town. So he recommended just going ahead and taking another town's comprehensive plan, looking it over and critiquing it to our special needs.
You hit this?
No, I don't.
Is it?
Is that meeting that's coming up?
It's a little outdated, but one I had.
Okay,
Yes.
we do have this.
Yep, we
This
do.
is that 11-page document.
Yeah,
And you did say that there is it Yorkshire or something similar to what our town is,
very similar.
that we can pick off of?
We're really looking at real close
Okay.
now, and trying to come up with something.
We heavily evaluated 3 comprehensive plans. and
Good.
Yorkshire is probably the one that is
Closest.
fitting to what will fit Machias' needs.
Okay, good.
One thing that is coming up though is, this is roughly a 250-page document. That ain't gonna happen for free. And the town board must struggle with, okay, when this committee comes to the town board for funding, to either have somebody write it or have somebody do it that's done it before. Town board needs to be prepared for a request for funds.
Okay. That's something we gotta do, so.
And as Dave mentioned, there is grant money, I'm not familiar with all the grants that are out there. But, it's something that we gotta explore and really.
How far off do you think that is, Kev?
I would say by the end of this year.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
I think that we're looking at, before December.
Okay,
If the vision or reality statements come back, this month, then it's the committee to go through them and clean them up. That puts us in October, we think we'll be ready for November.
okay,
He did say one comment though, he says, when you do a comprehensive plan, you don't wanna make drastic changes, you wanna do it over a period of time and slowly.
Mhm.
Because if you make drastic changes, you're gonna get a lot of opposition.
yeah, yeah.
If you do it slowly over a period of time, it'll blend in.
Well, I think you guys did a nice job with the survey, that I think helped a lot with what the
Yeah.
people are looking for.
Brings them up.
Um,
And we're just not, at least a basis for, where this town gets at, because really. To be effective in moving this town forward.
okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right, on in our packet here, we received word back from county planning. They approved our changes to the wind law. We have part 2 and part 3 of the EAF. Just determined that there's nothing of significance, being it's just a changing of a law. Good. So on to resolutions. First one being a resolution to adopt local law number 2 of 2024. This is local law 2 of 2024 has been submitted to replace our current 2010 law regulating wind energy systems. The amendments to the town code set forth in the law have been carefully considered by the town, and a public hearing was held September 16th, 2024, permitting public comment in regards to the proposed change. Now therefore be it resolved, local law 2 of 2024 is hereby adopted and shall become effective upon filing of the local law with the Secretary of State. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is directed to file a copy of the local law with the New York Department of State. Resolution is hereby adopted by a majority vote of the town board.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Josh,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
All right, audit of claims. We have the general fund, 10,622.16. Youth, we have 2,975.77. Highway fund, 115,156.32. Street lighting, 1,552.01. Water fund, 5,175.29. And the sewer fund, 11,044.65.
I'll second.
Josh,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes. Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Anything from any of you guys?
I don't know. On the budget, you want me to email you just some questions on the budget?
Yeah,
Yeah,
We're gonna
and,
get it for a week.
and you can email them to Kathy too if you want.
Okay,
And then, because we're gonna have I think we're gonna have one more meeting with her maybe.
all right.
And,
I'll be
and if you, yep,
Alright.
either her, Josh or me, and then, what you think we should do with the EDU? What do you think percentage we should raise?
Check on that. It looks to me like we're around 800 and some bucks.
Okay,
Just check with her to find out if I'm reading these numbers correctly.
okay. Nope, good.
That's it.
anybody else have anything?
Nope. Go ahead.
Yes,
I say, the planning board is actually doing an amazing job.
Oh, yeah, they are. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
sure.
And it's great to see this many people at a meeting, let me tell you. Many nights we sit here and there's one person,
It's cricket.
or us.
Yeah.
So this is great to see that you guys, and it helps that they getting the word out what we're doing here and what we're trying to do for our town. So thank you.
It's a great little town.
I'm done talking.
Good.
What thing is have Katie get a hold of the fire department and let them know about the
Trunk or treat,
the
okay,
candy
Yep,
stuff.
yep.
Because we usually sit at the corner.
Okay.
Everybody leaves.
Yeah, they were
That way
over,
we won't have to.
they came over last year to trunk or treat, they brought the fire truck over and handed out candy at trunk or treat last year. But I will make sure she talks to.
I believe they've already been contacted.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Cool.
okay, thank you.
Oh, one that brings a thought to mind is, does anybody here know who has the budget for the fire department? Or,
That comes from, usually Teresa dropped it off, but I will make sure I get that, I'll contact
thank
them.
you, because I know Kathy was asking us
Yeah,
for it.
I will do that tomorrow, I'll call
Perfect.
and find out what it is.
Maybe the president, that's all I can do.
Pardon me?
Maybe the president, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, I'll call over there and find out who's got it.
Okay,
I'll get
thank
that.
you.
I'll email it out to everybody.
If
once I
they
get it.
even have.
I don't know if I don't know if they passed it yet, but they should, they probably.
Probably get a hold of Joe Sereno, he's the chief, or his wife.
Yeah, I see Joe all the time. so
Yeah, Joe's.
They're both
town.
out of town for a couple days though, so yeah, but,
Can't say that, but
yeah, no, she's doing, she's in training for a new job and you went along, so. Yeah, they might not have passed it yet, but I'm sure they're gonna go up their 2%, so I'll check with them though, so. Right.
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Perfect.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.